I'm Olivia Bailey, and if you're seeing me right now, you're probably watching EHC-TV on Comcast Cable. However, you might be listening to WEHC 90.7, or it might be halftime show of the football game. Whether you're hearing or seeing us, we're glad you're tuned in today. Today, my guest is Mike Owens, the lone senior basketball player on the ENH basketball team. Thank you for being on the set today, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's start with your origins of basketball. When and where did you start playing basketball?
I started playing, I guess, late middle school days. I didn't really take it serious, just kind of played for fun. And then, as I got into high school, I started taking it more and more serious. And, just the older guys that I played with kind of pushed me along to pursue it in college.
Okay. So was there a particular event or anything that kind of really sparked your attention to get you motivated to start playing once you hit high school and into college?
Not really. I guess if I look back at it, I can reflect on times that I spent, with Coach Christian. Now, we went to the same high school, and I would work out with him a lot, and I think that's, really when I started to kind of think about playing in college and wanting to pursue it more.
Yeah, and where you developed that relationship with Coach Christian in high school or whatever, has that helped you since being on the team here at Emory?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I came in, my freshman year was his senior year. So it was good for me to have somebody that I had known previously from high school, to be able to come in and have him kind of for that support there, other than the rest of the teammates I had, to have somebody that I knew to help me out when I needed it.
Okay, and making those developments from freshman to senior year now, you're the only senior on the team. So what responsibilities do you feel like you have at this point? Is that difficult being the only senior, or has that encouraged you to do better, like in motivating your teammates or other things?
Well, with being the only senior, that means that I've been around the longest, obviously. So, I have a kind of a more leadership role, and I think the biggest part in that is just helping the young guys, the newcomers, all the way up into even the juniors, kind of see the game how I see it, and see, from what I've been around it, you kind of look at the game a little different than you do as a freshman, as a sophomore. So to help those guys see the game and see what kind of angles and how I approach it, I think that's the biggest part of being the lone senior and a leadership role.
Yeah, and I've been really interested to ask you this. You have the nickname The Machine, and the first time I heard this was last year. And I've heard that you're in the gym at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like doing all these crazy workouts and things like that. Can you kind of explain how you got that nickname and what it means to you to have that nickname now?
Well, the Machine, I came along late in my freshman year. The guys kind of noticed the extra work that I would put in just because I wanted to play. I wanted to be a contributor on the team. And so the guys, took note of that, and then, started, just kind of calling me the Machine. I don't really know who first started it. I would think either JD or Josh Lee. And then once they started calling it, then I became known as the Machine more than Michael Owens. I would walk down the red brick road and people would call me the Machine instead of Mike. So that's kind of how it came along. I guess having that nickname, I guess it's a neat thing to have guys respect you for the time and the work that you put in. So I take it as a compliment to have that nickname.
I think when I go in the gym, I'm going to lift a lot of weight and see if people will call me the Machine as well. But no, in leading the team this year, I know that you guys have a system in practice, which you grade your practices, and that's something that I've just kind of seen coming in and out of the gym while you guys have been in there. Can you kind of explain how that system works and how Coach Russo and Coach Christian grade your practices?
Well, we look at every game as a test for us, and to perform well on a test, you have to be prepared for that test. Just like in the classroom, if you want to go in and feel confident about that test, then you're prepared for it. And we use the grading system to make sure that we're prepared. And if we go into a game and look on the board and see that we have all A's, then we're prepared for that test, and we know that we're going to go out and perform well. On the flip side of that, if we look at the board and see we have an A and a C and a B and a C, then we didn't have a good week or a good few days of preparation leading up to that test. So we might not be as confident as going into that test. And I think that, going into each game and at the end of the year going into the tournament, we want to look back at that board and see a consistent level of practice, a consistent A's across the board, and that will tell the story of our season right there.
And how does that affect you mentally? Like when you go into a game where you may have not had the best practices all week, how does that affect you? And does that really mean something when you go into the game? Do you work to get that A for that game at that point?
Definitely. We go in and every day, we strive to get an A. Coach Christian says a lot, win every day. And so, we try to instill that into everybody on the team and get everybody to buy in to win every day and get that A. If we have A's leading up to games, I think guys really buy in, and it's an extra confidence boost for everybody on the team. However, if we don't have A's leading up to that, then we look back and see what we did wrong and what we didn't get that A for, and then we can look at the game and try to fix it that way.
Okay. And you individually, I know as a former basketball player myself that you get a lot of principles from basketball, a lot of discipline, things like that. What kind of values or motivations do you get from basketball that you take into your everyday life?
I think it all can be summed up in character. Being on time, discipline, work ethic, respect for authority, things like that I think are great things that this program especially teaches everybody that comes through it. I think if you talk to alums that used to play, they all have those characteristics, those characteristics that this program instills in everybody. And
how do you think Emory and Henry basketball differs from other programs around the nation or worldwide, or how do you think ENH basketball is different from everyone else?
The biggest thing is what I just said about character. This program and this school in general produces successful people, and to have a program that instills those characteristics in people, it sets them up for success later on in life. And to have that background, I think is a big part of it.
Yeah. And I think that kind of leads into my next question. You just played an exhibition game against Concord, and going into this Sunday you'll have Wofford. How does playing some of these bigger league teams, how does that kind of influence you guys, and what's your mindset for this weekend?
Our mindset is to go in and win. Like every game, we treat every game as a test, and we want to win and be successful in every test. So, we want to win. We want to get better. We look at every day to get better, and we don't look at it as going out and having fun. We want to go in, even though they're a Division I team, a successful Division I team. We plan to win. So.
Well, perfect. Thanks for being on the set today, Mike. I wish you personally the best of luck, as well as the rest of the Emory and Henry basketball team for this season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the sports interview from Emory and Henry Reports on EHC-TV. You can find us on Comcast Cable Channel 70 and 95 on Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7. A replay of the football game follows this program. Thanks for joining me, Olivia Bailey, for this sports interview.